Hello and welcome to the Claret and Blue podcast post-match reaction for Aston Villa versus Brighton. I almost teed it up like we were the home team then. Brighton 3, Aston Villa 4. A brilliant performance, result, statement victory, whatever cliche you want to describe that game as. We're going to get stuck into this, myself and Neil Dunworth. Neil, how's things your end, mate? You look a little bit laggy on the old internet. Are you there? Can you hear me?
And I know why I need to fix. I was too busy pouring my Guinness, and I wasn't looking after my activity monitor, which causes havoc here. So I should get right in 2 seconds.
We'll let you
everything should be back to normal ASAP. Now, just pulling the strings back here. Sorry,
Good.
Daniel. What a win!
What a win indeed. Now I'm hesitant to hold up my glass to an Irishman. I've got a Guinness, probably not poured very well, in a pint glass. But I accidentally got the 440ml cans.
Rookie mistake. Always check if you're buying Guinness. Always check your cans to make sure they're not the 440. That's your stagflation right there. A shrinkflation, isn't it? That's what that one is.
Yeah. Not great. This podcast is not sponsored by Guinness. It is sponsored by NordVPN and FPro. The links to those are in the description down below. Myself and Neil will be supping on our points throughout this episode to celebrate Aston Villa's 6th consecutive victory. Something like, what is it now? 8 wins out of 9. It's only the Liverpool defeat, isn't it? Which really, that should never have happened either. Villa are rolling along nicely. There will be comments of title race and whatnot, I'm sure, and we'll maybe get to that in a bit as well.
Inevitability.
I just like Villa winning football matches consistently. And after the first 20-odd minutes, I wasn't sure that was going to be the case. I thought, okay, this is where maybe it all blows up a little bit. And to be fair, I think I probably would have come on to this and said, Brighton are a good side and they're at home. You know, if we had have gone on to not get anything tonight, you'd have said, well, we've had a good run. You take this defeat on the chin. You start a new run as soon as you can. To come back and get any points out of that is impressive enough. To do it in the way that we have and be comfortable towards the end, despite the goal to make it 4-3 late on, that was a proper away win, wasn't it? That is a real statement.
A statement win. You said it. Absolute statement win. It's like we've seen Villa do this before. They were 2-0 down. It was against Everton last year, and they came back and they won. You know, this isn't. And look, I'm not degrading any other team, but look, Burnley. If you were to give Burnley 17, 16 place right now, they'd take it. They'd snap their hands off to keep stability in the Premier League. It's not like we were 2-0 down against a team that's hovering in around the drop zone. These were our nearest. These were our nearest threat. That's what they were. They had leapfrogged us. They were a point ahead of us. We were 2-0 down, and then we score four unanswered goals to go back above them. That's serious character. That's serious metal. There's that serious.
Something that we've all doubted, right? Something we've doubted Villa having of not been great away from home. Generally, looking ahead. I mean, John's done this so often that there's a lot of tricky looking away games in 2026, and when Villa aren't good away from home, aren't brilliant away from home, a lot of games can look tricky. But talk about a Liverpool or an Arsenal or a City or whoever, and you don't kind of potentially judge your season against those directly, but you probably are expecting to compete with a Brighton, a Newcastle, a Tottenham for best of the rest, if you like. And to go to their place and play the way we have and score those goals the way we did to come back is a real statement of something that I wasn't sure Villa have got. That we talk about the big game mentality, and when the pressure's on Villa, they crumble a little bit from time to time. And that could absolutely have been an occasion where Villa, I don't know, maybe sulk and feel sorry for themselves. And we've had it good, but we've been poor for this first half, and we'll go into our shells a little bit. This game's lost. Let's preserve ourselves for Saturday. We'll be at home against Arsenal. We might have a good run out there because we know we're good at home. But it was none of that. It was straight back to it. No, we can still go and win this game, and that's absolutely what we did.
That's absolutely what we did. Yeah, and look, it's not revisionist or to say that. Look, the first half an hour was.
Comments are flying, by the way. I'm trying to keep up with everything, but I can't.
Yeah, I'm looking at it here. The first half an hour was tentative at best, I think you could call it. Their first goal was just like a calamity. And it's okay to say that because the goalkeeper should be getting at that. I know he gets a small bit of contact, but he just doesn't catch the flight of that ball at all. And then Morgan Rogers somehow punches it into his own net. Now he didn't know a whole pile about it, but it was a screwball scramble there at the back. And the second goal we conceded was kind of poor Hinchelwood is over there, and then he gets the luckiest of deflections again off Pau Torres, who I thought was brilliant actually tonight. I thought Pau Torres was really good. And, Villa could probably look at themselves and go, oh my God, our luck's out tonight. And we've got Andy Madley ref in the game, which is never.
The referee. Oh my God, some of those decisions. Unbelievable.
Yeah. But I think, I just said it in my own podcast there, I think Unai Emery looks back at this, and I don't know if he gives out gold stars for people for things they do in games, but for our first goal, Pau Torres literally grabs our team by the scruff of the neck and goes, lads, we need to score now if we're getting back in this game. And he carries that ball forward, lays it off to Matson. Matson crossed the ball in, and then obviously Evan Gassan gets the greatest assist you'll ever see for Ollie Watkins at the back post. Like, you just don't see incredible skill like that. You don't see things like that. Like, you can't put a price on that kind of assist. You really can't. But Pau Torres was the man that made that goal. Yeah. He broke Brighton's press, mid-press, by just literally being that extra man. And they were like going, what's the centre half doing here? And he just broke from convention, ran straight through, carried the ball with him. And it was brilliant to see. And he did that in 23-24 when we were riding high. And I just said, and my own pod as well there, that at this very stage, we were 4th in the league on 29 points and Arsenal were top on 33. We're 3rd in the league on 27. Arsenal are on top with 23. So we're well in like we're in great stead. Our nearest challengers are 3 points behind us now, and we're 1 point off second place.
Yeah,
that's good. That's good to see on the 3rd of December. It really is.
33 Arsenal top. So we've got, I mean, if 5th ends up being the Champions League, which we're still not sure on this early into the season, that's Palace on 23 at the moment. So it's a 4-point buffer to 5th and dropping into the Europa League places, which, I kind of have my tongue firmly in cheek talking about a title race, because I don't think we will win the league. I don't think we'll compete for winning the league. I still think we're way away from that. However, I'm more concerned about building some kind of gap behind us. I want us to have a season a bit like the first year that Newcastle got into the Champions League, where they were like 3rd all year. And it was like, I don't know, February onwards, you were like, yeah, Newcastle, they're going to finish in the top 4, no problem. Villa, less so the year they got into it. They were still up there for most of the season, but I want to be up there with, I don't know, a 6 or 7 point gap to 5th to be like, right, we are safe here. If we just keep churning results out, we will finish in the Champions League. I want to have that kind of safety net. So title race, yeah, keep winning. Who knows? Let's see what happens. That's the fun of football, I guess. But keep winning and make a bigger gap behind you is my main focus, and I'm sure what the Villa players will be focused on as well. Let's get the negatives out of the way, and let's do the referee chat first of all. As a comment earlier on saying, yeah, as positive as it was, let's not let the refereeing standards get away with that one. Yeah, it's just weird. Everything seemed to be wrong for both sides, and I don't know what you thought of the Matson penalty shout. I don't know what you thought of the goal, whether that should have been a foul on Bizot. I don't know. Some things look a little bit soft, and then other things I think you got miles wrong. The corner for the goal wasn't a corner. Why VAR can't intervene with that, I'll never know. I don't understand it. But you think it was a corner?
I think I saw a replay and I thought Cash does get his head to it. No, unless Cash gets his head to it, it's off.
I think it goes back off him. I think it went back off him. But then further back in the other game, we get a corner, nothing comes of it. But it was a massive deflection. It was the most obvious corner you're seeing. It's given us a goal kick. Like, things like that are so blatantly wrong. I just don't know how they can come to the conclusions they do. Half the time, I just think they just guess.
But they don't call him Andy Badly for nothing, because he refs the game badly and he makes the fans madly. I just give up with that there. And you know what?
Put that on a t-shirt, I reckon.
Trademarking that in the morning, yeah. Andy Badly makes the fans madly. Yeah.
That beer's kicking in already, isn't it?
I'm giddy after that game tonight. Yeah, I wish I had more beers during the game. But look, he was incredibly infuriating for both sets of fans. Like I said, that Matson touch in the box for the penalty review, there will be a penalty given for a foul akin to that between now and the end of the year. Between now and the end of December.
Saying it, there is contact, 100%. But there isn't enough contact. It's like there either is or there isn't. If the contact's in the box, it's a penalty,
Exactly. Well, put it this way: Bruno Fernandes might get a penalty for that within the next 4 weeks.
Yeah, probably against Villa.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, in the 94th minute. But yeah, so like it's one of those two subjective ones. John Brooks was VAR as well. I didn't expect him to give it. My big one was my big frustration was the calls for handball when Ezri Konsa had that header that came off the line. First thing was there was I can't remember. I think I saw him in the comments there. I think his name was Joe Keating. I think he said to me that on Japanese, he was watching a Japanese stream. He said that they said it was a handball on the line. I didn't watch the halftime clips.
No, I didn't.
But did they ever replay that?
I don't.
Well, scramble in
maybe
the goal
at half time that neither of us were there for, but no, I'm not sure they did. Obviously, the word when you mentioned the word replay, the only thing I can think of is the fact they were still showing a replay when Watkins scored his second.
Yeah,
we've scored. I haven't even seen it.
They were trying to replay the wrong thing.
Yeah, that was really irritating. Okay, let's get all that out of the way then. Let's rewind a little bit back and do starting 11 first. We're going to be a bit all over the place tonight, as I'm sure you can imagine. Emi Martinez drops out in the warm-up again for the second or third time this season, the fifth or sixth time over the last year or so. This seems quite common, really. What that is, how intense is his warm-up that he's so liable to injury? It seems very, very odd. I'd seen the team news at, I don't know, whatever it would be, 6 o'clock, 6:30 or whatever. Went away, put my son to bed, came down, stuck the TV on. It was already 30 seconds in, and Villa had the ball at the back. And I was like, "That's Marco Bizot." What? What's happened there? So that's really quite irritating now to me. I don't know what the issue is there, and I know it will fuel the conspiracy theories of his head's not here, and he knows he's going to be leaving in January, and yada yada yada. And I'm not convinced I even want to get into that right now. But a keeper shouldn't be getting injured in the warm up every I don't know, once a month or whatever it is.
Yeah. I'm going to be honest. Marco Bizot is a hell of a signing. You know, he's a hell of a signing so far this year.
If it was Olsen, we'd be in serious trouble.
Oh, tell me about it. Yeah, absolutely. But like I genuinely, I kind of looked at it and I went, not for this game. I don't like it for this game. But then I went, Bizot is grand. He's better than grand. Like Bizot is as good as Verbruggen at the other end. You know, and like that, and that's not me being facetious. Just because we played Brighton. I think based on his performances this year, there's a hell of a lot of teams that will be looking at Marco Bizot and going, "How do we let Villa get him for
around
€3 million?"
It's a comment from Joe there. Says, as good as Bizot is, it's super irritating that Emi drops out last minute so often, as it'll unsettle the team. It's an interesting point, you know, because we judge Bizot on these kind of cameo appearances, I guess, and he looks good. And for the first goal, whether it was a foul or not, I still don't think it's good goalkeeping or good defending. I think it's a really poor goal to concede, as is the second one, but it's a lucky deflection. Hinchelwood is trying to cross it or square it, and it goes in off Torres. It was actually a good move for Brighton to get in that position, to be fair. But
Hinchelwood made the wrong decision,
but got it right.
Square it.
Yeah,
and he got rewarded for it. Yeah, it was just
very lucky. But
football gods.
Bizot will be judged for that was a poor goal to concede, the first one, but that save at the very end is fantastic. If that was Emi Martinez, that is nominated for save of the season. Like, that is unbelievably good. For the shot outside the box is the one I'm referring to that is redirected very close to Bizot by Welbeck. It's a fantastic save, and that keeps Villa with all 3 points.
It keeps Villa with all 3 points. That's exactly it. It was a speculative shot. They just scored from one previously. Van Hecke, great finish, you know. And I did like, Van Hecke is great with his feet, and you know they kept on referencing to that. Dennis Bergkamp is his childhood hero, and inside every centre half there's a frustrated striker, all that kind of stuff. When he finishes that ball brilliantly, I found himself in dunk kind of irritated me a small bit. I found when Van Hecke went down in the first half holding his hand and the play got stopped, I had a tweet written saying, kind of feigning head injuries like that should be outlawed, or there should be some punishment for it. And I went, no, there's none. I'll talk about it if we win. Yeah, can't be bothered. But I can say it now that we've won 4-2. Jan Paul Van Hecke. I can say that to you now. But then he starts wrestling Pau Torres at the back post. I found him a small bit. He got under my fingernails a small bit tonight. And then him scoring 2 goals exactly didn't help. But he's a fine player, fantastic player.
Yeah.
And then the second one that comes in, Welbeck gets the deviation on it with the header. Just as you said, it's an incredible save. And you see when that ball comes in, Bizot is like he's just hopping around like a cat there, waiting for something to happen. And when it does, he gets up and claws it over the bar. Well done to him. He must have a mentality made of absolute steel, because, as you mentioned there, you get 20 minutes notice that you're going to be starting in goals. The position where you need to be as mentally strong as you possibly can do, as you can be. There was pictures then, or there was footage of Hollingshead coming onto the bench. You know, looked like a child, because he is. What is he, 19? And fair play to him. It'll be a great night for him. But like, he had to get his head into the game. A lot to be said for the goalkeepers union when something like that happens, and then for somebody like Marco Bizot to come out and to make that save the way he did. Big kudos to him. He's as important a player as we have within this squad at this moment in time, given that Emi Martinez has the propensity to to get injured.
Yeah, I completely agree, actually. Let's go to the opposite end of the pitch then. And just on the team news, little bits of change that I think is in anticipation of Arsenal. I think Dean, Tielemans, and remind me, who else was that? Yeah, maybe. I think certainly Tielemans and Dean will come in and play against Arsenal. So some interest in looking ahead a little bit and rest. Obviously, Tielemans just back from an injury, etc. Ollie Watkins. Let's talk about him a little bit. Now, John and I did a podcast last night, as did 1874. I saw with Jacob. Obviously, Jacob and John were both at Emery's presser, where Emery spoke in the embargoed section about Watkins been struggling with a knee injury. Something he had last year, something he has now. We still aren't clear on whether he's had it the whole time, whether it's something that comes and goes. It's one of them. And the reaction that video got from some people was, okay, fair enough. Like, you watch him play and you think he's not quite right. He's clearly got a knock of some kind. There's something bothering him. And the longer he goes on without scoring, it all adds to the fuel of this is a player that doesn't trust his body, isn't confident. It's a kind of recipe for disaster, really, isn't it, for a footballer? They want to feel good in their body and they want to be scoring goals. It's really as simple as that. And we weren't really sure how much kind of this is a disaster to put onto that podcast last night, because if it's a serious issue that isn't going to go away, and surgery, no surgery, and it just drags on and on and on, that is a problem. He's 30 in a few weeks' time. There's been talk of, do you replace him anyway? Like, this could be the beginning of the end for Watkins at Villa. And for some people, they'll go, hooray, we need someone better anyway. That's fine. I said in that show, well, tomorrow we'll be back for the Brighton preview, and maybe we'll be speaking about an Ollie Watkins hat-trick. Who knows? And we were only a goal away from that, and it was tongue-in-cheek a bit last night, but there was still the feeling of, for me anyway, if he continues to play, which I think he will start scoring goals eventually. Now, the first one, you mentioned Gesson getting the brilliant assist. It's a brilliant goal from Watkins as well, isn't it? It doesn't really do anything. It's a bit of a scramble. 2 or 3 players go for it, and he just gets the touch on it. Now, when it's still at 2-1 Brighton, he goes through, doesn't get anything on the finish at all. Brighton go up the other end and score. And that to me was then back in the, okay, well, he's got his goal, but not really by anything that he's done. He's just toe poked something from 3 yards or whatever. When he's had a chance to do something, he's fluffed it. Is that the Watkins that we've seen so far? They score. We're going to rue these missed chances. And then he gets the chance. The goal he scores, obviously, is a really good finish. And the other effort he gets that was offside. Granted, it's offside and it doesn't count or anything. But that's a good save because he's hit it really well. And that's a stark contrast to the one that was before his goal. So I don't want this to be like, I told you so, because it isn't that at all. Like, I still think the Watkins injury issue, confidence, his finishing, there's still certainly problems there. But if he plays, he will start scoring at some point. I've said that all season. He had 1 before tonight. Now he has 3. He might score again against Arsenal. Like, he can go on these little runs, as we all know. And I'm not kind of sharing new information there. We all know that. So it's potentially could still be a problem. However, for tonight, for his confidence in his body as much as anything, he's come out and scored 2 goals in a game that Villa have won. He's started the comeback to get it to 2-2. That's a massive thing for him. Huge.
Absolutely huge. And you said about that goal, he didn't have to do much. Gary Lineker made a career.
A
very, very good career out of scoring goals like that, sliding in and getting goals like that. Now, obviously, he was a great footballer as well. But you mentioned about Ollie Watkins' injury too. it seems, and look, as I said, it's out there that he's injured or whatever, but there was also, conjecture or going around that what it is it's more of a discomfort, that it's like a cyst on his knee, something along those lines. That will, it's not like he's got a tear and he's MCL and he's playing through a tear or a sprained knee or something like that, or ligament damage or anything like that. It doesn't seem to be like that. It's like some sort of, but fair play to him. It's obviously going to slow him down. He's had it for a while, but it's fair play to him. And we only get what we going to get out of him, what we can have out of him, I suppose, really. And that's even with a fit Ollie Watkins, because
Yeah.
it's like the fact he's got 2 goals today. I wouldn't put it beyond him to score a goal against Arsenal. He scored quite a lot of goals against Arsenal at the weekend. He's a streaky player. He's always been a streaky player, injury or no injury, and there'll be a lot made out of the injury. Injury or no injury, he's always been a really streaky striker, and that's matched Unai Emery's ability. I was going to say ability, but that's matched Unai Emery's tenure at Aston Villa too. We've been incredibly streaky. We're on a brilliant streak at the moment. And I think it gets heightened because this is probably the longest streak he's gone in a barren streak for Aston Villa, and it's right to call him out for it, injury or no injury. But he's got 2 tonight, and and he's a confidence player, and you could see how much that first one meant to him. Came out and a real show of emotion. The second one, he was absolutely thrilled to bits, and I wouldn't back against him. Scoring against this depleted Arsenal, the revenge of the Guinness. This depleted Arsenal backline, because they had another defender injured again today. Mosquera got injured, and Julian Timber had to come on. And I didn't check to see if Calafiori got booked, because if he got booked, that means he's out. So they have a small bit of a defensive reshuffling to be doing on a weekly basis at the moment. So, Ollie Watkins, have a great December. Bring us into January. Allow us maybe to sign somebody to give you a bit of respite along with Marlon. And then we will pat you on the back massively. So, and you've had a great start to it with your first game in December, scoring 2 goals. So well done to him. Absolutely well done.
Yeah. Cheeky PB says, what's the situation with Buendia? Anyone know? Did he go off? What happened? He was the one of the ones I was thinking of who might play against Arsenal.
Yeah, I think
Tielemans and Buendia might be the 3 that were swapped out for this one to come back in for that one. Did he get a knock or anything? Is it Cheeky PB referring to something happened today, and what's the situation with him? The reason he weren't in the team is just changes, right?
I think the reason he wasn't in the team was because, as we said in our team sheet tantrum, that Unai Emery was going super conservative to start, and this is an away game. I think that's probably it. I don't think you can have, like, if you play Gassand, you're not going to have Buendia in there as well. Because I think currently their energy levels, the energy levels of Morgan Rogers and John McGinn are too high. And like, you take those out of that front line, I think they're super pivotal. You take those out of the front line, like, we would have had no press, we would have had no out ball without McGinn in there today. Specifically in that first half, and Rogers. I thought Rogers, people were calling him Rogers the Rhino there in the comments. I think he was a bullish kind of runner with the ball in the second half. Buendia is a different type of player. I don't think the game at the weekend suited him. At the weekend, just the way the Wolves were playing and how physical they were. But Buendia has been an incredible player for us this season. He is the redemption arc of this season. And I think a game against Arsenal, the game against Arsenal, should I say, might suit him a small bit better. I'm not quite sure he'll start, but I wouldn't be surprised if he did. Put it that way. I think he's definitely more in line to start against Arsenal at the weekend, for sure. But I would not be surprised to see maybe Villa go with, maybe something a bit conservative. Maybe not with Gassand in there, but something maybe a bit conservative there as well. I just don't know what it looks like. Maybe Tielemans in the 10, McGinn on the right hand side, Rogers on the left, maybe something like that.
Yeah, John and I'll do some Arsenal preview stuff Thursday or Friday. Onana will play, I think, for his physicality and the set pieces. So
I think so too.
I think Tielemans will also play if he's okay to start. So what that actually looks like, we'll discuss later in the week. No goals outside the box. Yeah, that was a thing, wasn't it? We talked about sustainably unsustainable at the start of the week. That Villa can't keep scoring outside the box. That'll run out at some point. They're just lucky, Villa. Well, 3 inside the box today to quiet that narrative down. Well, Villa can score goals and win games in whichever way they like.
All 4 inside the box?
Oh, well, 4. I'm only thinking of the first 3.
Yeah. The last one, Marlon's one was inside the box. Yeah, all four.
Yeah, was it all four?
All four inside the box. Yeah.
Yeah, of
Well,
course,
there
yeah.
you go. Nine outside the box, and how many inside the box now?
I think it was 9 of the 16 before today
Yeah.
were outside the box, and now it'll be 9 out of 20.
I know. Yeah. So we've
Not even
scored
half.
more inside. We've scored more. Yeah. Not even scored half our
What's that
goals
everyone
outside
on
the box.
about?
Yeah, Villa are gun shy. That's what they are. They don't shoot enough outside the box anymore. That Villa, they've moved away from what made them good. That's what we'll say. Yeah.
Let's try and pick our NordVPN MVP man of the match, shall we? It's everybody's favourite section. It's time for the Man of the Match award, and we're going to pick our top 3 in order. And if there wasn't 3 good players, it's a bit of tough, isn't it? Now, we will have spoken about some of the players that are up for selection, I'm sure, but one that we haven't touched on too much is Rodgers. I think he would be one of my picks for man of the match. I thought he was very good. It's interesting how he's kind of, I don't know if it has been under the radar really, because Villa have been playing well, but he started the season really poorly to the point that there were people saying, oh, he was a championship player after all, and was his good spell the outlier, and he's actually just not that good. He's been consistently pretty good now for 10 games-ish or something. I don't know. It's quite a long time now. Probably more than that, actually. But a little bit under the radar that he's just kind of got back to being at a good level and has just stayed there. But I thought he was great at kind of picking up the ball and moving us forward and good at the things that we know he's good at. So I would have Rodgers as a shout for a man of the match contender. Watkins, because he's scored a couple, I guess. Where would you go for after that? You might disagree with both of those anyway.
No, I think you give it to Ollie Watkins, because without Ollie Watkins' 2 goals, you don't get goal 3 and goal 4.
Yeah.
You know, and I think that second goal from Watkins at the time we scored it completely changes the halftime team talk and the second half completely. Villa came out with their chests puffed out. They came out. Conte came out meaner. Onana came out meaner. Gassand came out with a pair of boxing gloves on, which was completely different to the first half. Although there was times that he had the boxing gloves on his feet, but that's another story.
Do you know what? Let's touch on him very quickly. I'm not saying he was like amazing, but he was better, I thought, than we've seen of him before. Little signs of it. Actually, there's a little bit there.
I'm much more pro Gassand than most people. I am much more pro Gassand than most people. I just wanted to make the joke.
Okay,
that's
fine.
Really at his expense. Unfortunately, Evan, I do apologize. I am one of your champions here and podcasts. But I did enjoy how he played in the second half. You know, he was a lot more robust. He was a lot better tactically, positionally. There was at times there where he was filtering back into a back 7 at times as the right back in a back 7, and he looked massive for a right back. But you know, fair play to him, because Unai did dress him down in the first half. There was a specific camera angle where Unai was losing it on the sideline, and then it panned to Gassand, and he looked terrified. So you know, there's something in that. But I think Ollie Watkins for me has to be man of the match. It changed the whole complexion of the game. It changed the whole direction of the flow of momentum within the game. And yes, if both of those goals were tap-ins at the back post, you say to him, look, that was great, but somebody else laid them on the plate for him. But that second goal was a really, really well taken goal. I think Ollie Watkins has to be man of the match. And if it's not Ollie Watkins, I would be putting Pau Torres in there. I thought Pau Torres was he adopted a leadership role today that I haven't seen in quite a while from him. He won't score out well in any of the algorithmic sofa score or anything like that, but I think Pau Torres today took the mantle on of, right guys, we can get back into this, as referenced by the first goal and by some of the other good passing movements that he put together as the game went on. But Ollie Watkins for me, I think.
Yeah, I'd have Watkins in there, obviously 100%. A shout for Rodgers, whether he's one of my top 3, I'm not sure. I mean, it feels harsh because he's conceded 3 goals, but for that save alone at the end, I'd be tempted to put Bizot in there at 3rd place. Just that has kept us in the game at the very end. These are the usual players going under the radar, that they're always good, like a Konsa. Torres was very good, so I accept that shout as well. And Onana, I thought, was good as well. I think he's starting to hit a bit of a groove over the last few weeks as well, of certainly showing more of the signs of a player that we spent that kind of money on. So a lot of good performances, lots of 8s out of 10s, a couple of 9s maybe, and just a solid performance. We have spoken before about, you know, John specifically loves an away win, 1-0, grind it out, go there, upset all the home fans and come away. But a 4-3 is pretty good as well, isn't it, for the entertainment factor? Probably one of Villa's best matches to be involved with this season for the spectacle. Like, it was a good game as well. Like, obviously, easy to say that now because we've come out of it on the right side, but a good game, plenty of entertainment, plenty of chances, plenty of back and forth. Like, it was just a good game and a nice show of the things we spoke about earlier, character and mentality to come back from that, and that will hopefully bode well for the coming weeks. And you always say December's busy. Actually, it's not as busy as I thought it was.
We've got 2 periods for 6 days. Yeah, we've 2 periods. We've got 6-day breaks, which is pivotal.
Is there a Carabao Cup game that week or something that we aren't part of?
Maybe. Must be something along those lines. I don't know.
Don't normally get a period in December. It's normally like every 3 or 4 days, isn't it?
Do we have a period of 6 days between West Ham and 6 days between United, or is it 6 days?
Yeah, there's no
Chelsea and 6 days between United. There's something there. There's 2 weeks anyway. We have a clear run. Yeah. Statto put up a great graphic actually, and I didn't cop it until I actually saw it plotted on the actual calendar. But I kind of went, December is busy, but we've got 2 weeks there where we've got kind of clear runs where we can install things, and there can be proper recovery and proper training sessions, there for 2 weeks, which I think in a Unai Emery world is like manna from heaven, because he's working from recovery session to mini install. And when I talk about that is like when you've got a 3-day turnaround, specifically, when you're playing European football, specifically for playing away, you're getting on the plane, you're getting home. The next days are right off. All it is video work, and it's recovery work. Then the day after, you're on the grass, you're trying to install something in one training session. You can't really deviate from the massive core principle of your plan. And then then you've got a light session then to ascertain fitness of people who are probably carrying knocks, and then you're into a match. Whereas if you've got a 6-day break, you can have recovery days, you can have high intensity days, you can have install days, you can have all that kind of stuff that goes on in that 6-day planning period, which a meticulous planner like Unai Emery would love to have. And maybe we see more wrinkles from, I would be interested actually to see if we see more wrinkles in the set piece game over that period of time. Can we install more things in the set piece game?
Us doing a bit more.
Yeah. Can we bring more routines, I suppose, to our set pieces? Can we will we?
It's a bit hand to mouth, isn't it, when you play so often that you just do what you don't.
That's exactly the phrase I was looking for. Exactly the phrase I was looking for. I was waffling until I tried to find it, but glad you're here.
Thanks,
glad you're here on your podcast where you should be.
Yeah, that's all right, Neil. I'm happy to join you on your second podcast of the evening. Just quickly to kind of run through that fixture list. We have Arsenal obviously at the weekend, Basel next midweek. Then it's West Ham on the Sunday, and there is a week gap between West Ham United and Manchester United. And then another week gap to Chelsea, which is the 27th, and then we have Arsenal away on the 30th. Now, what is in that gap between the 14th and the 21st is our Hockley live show, our mid-season review / Q&A, which there will be a link to the free tickets in the description of the podcast. Hockley Social is closing its doors on New Year's Eve. They're shutting down the venue. They're moving somewhere else. So we wanted to get another show there before that. And obviously December is not the end of the season, Neil. So we're going to go there, have a bit of a kind of Christmas knees up is the idea. We might not even film it for those that listen to the podcast. It might be something that we do exclusively for those in the room. So if you want to be a part of it, snap up your free tickets now. It's like 10 days or so. It's the 15th, Monday, the 15th of December. So we'll have played West Ham on the Sunday, and then myself, Kendrick and John, plus friends of the show will be there to have a bit of a chit-chat about the season so far. I mean, we might be top or something by then. Who knows? If we win the next 2, can we be top? I don't know. Probably not. But you get my point.
That goal difference. Well, depends on what we beat Arsenal by.
If we batter Arsenal, there's a chance, yeah. And we'll answer some questions as well from those in the room. We might still film it, but in terms like we've done it before with like 3 or 4 cameras. I don't think that'll be the case. We want it to be quite low key, really. So if you want to get involved with our Hockley live show, Monday, 15th of December, there's a link to free tickets in the description. There's about 300 spaces, maybe a little bit more. So act quickly. Of those games, Neil, we'll take out Europe. So we've got Arsenal, West Ham, Man United, Chelsea, and Arsenal again in December. 5 games. You know what I'm going to ask? How many points are you predicting we're going to get? We'll come back to this at the end of the season or the next time. End of the season? End of the month? Next time you're on, maybe. How many points are we getting from those 5?
8. I'm going to say 8 points. I'm going to say we draw at Arsenal at the weekend, beat West Ham, beat United, draw at Chelsea, lose to Arsenal.
Beat United.
Beat United at home. We are at home against Manchester United. I am expecting. We need to show them who's boss now.
I think there's more chance we'll beat Arsenal than we'll beat Man United. I think we might beat. I've got a sneaky feeling we'll beat Arsenal, beat West Ham. That's 6.
I think we'll stay unbeaten in this run until the 30th of December, and we'll be going, one more run and we could have finished out, or one more draw and we could have finished out. It's just Arsenal away in the Emirates. They haven't lost there all season. No, I know we went to the Amex tonight. Brighton hadn't lost there all season. Sunderland Sunderland and Arsenal are the only 2 teams who haven't lost at home all season this year.
They're going to lose at some point, and they might have lost one by the time we play them, maybe.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I don't know. Yeah. I think it is.
I think 9, by the way. I think 9 points. I'd be okay with 8 still.
Yeah.
I think it is a difficult run. I think I fancy us to sneak 3 wins there somewhere. And we've only played 2 at home, so we are going to have to win at least 1 away. West Ham, Chelsea. I mean, Chelsea are a weird one. Do I give praise to Leeds or do I dig Chelsea a little bit? But I mean, we went to Leeds in a difficult period. That could be perceived as difficult, and we've got a great win there as well. Chelsea have gone there and with an opportunity, and they've not been able to take it. They're with 3 points ahead of Chelsea now. Whatever happens with Arsenal, play Chelsea. That's an opportunity to compete with a direct rival as well. So this is without stating the bleeding obvious, it's a massive month, isn't it?
Oh, it absolutely is. I won't say it's league defining, but am I right or am I wrong in saying last year is probably a bit of a fly in the ointment, but you go back to 23-24, and I will reference that season because I think there are similarities to that season and this.
Yeah.
Specifically position, points, run of games we're on. We had an absolutely bonkersly good December that year, albeit we couldn't go top of the league
Sheffield United one, wasn't it?
The Sheffield United game. We still drew that game.
Yeah.
We had we beat Man City, we beat Arsenal. Why can't we do it again?
We absolutely can,
yeah. Unai Emery is streaky.
We can, and obviously, when we talk about we'll stick 3 points here, a point there, whatever, it all depends on the context of how those come. If you were to beat Arsenal at the weekend, then you're kind of whatever, but I think you'd probably be expecting to win that as well. You then have to go and beat West Ham, and then you're on this run of 8 or 9 wins in a row across all competitions with Man United at home, where you're still unbeaten for God knows how long, with an opportunity. You just find yourself churning out results, and I'm fully aware this will spark the 1 game at a time narrative, and that's absolutely true. That is important, and that's how the club will deal with it. We're a podcast where we can get carried away, and
we're fans.
If you can keep winning, it breeds winning, and you just go into every game thinking, "Well, we'll win again," and you don't always, but sometimes you do.
Steve, I love that 1 game at a time narrative.
Well, yeah, I get it. I do get it, but come on.
I think, it's good to enjoy the good times, and I think that gets overlooked. Yes, this is your livelihood, being in the media space within the journalistic field as well. But at the end of the day, you were supporting Aston Villa before you ever took up this profession, and I'm always a big believer in if you can't celebrate the wins, then what is the point? And we need to feel good about ourselves. We need to feel good about ourselves. We need to feel good about this team because, we're not like a lot of people can remember tweets after bad losses of sports cars being called pocket tweets from our centre halves. That kind of thing,
The centre half is the most questionable part of all that. That's the least believable bit. Absolute clown.
But it's as I say, it's a far throw away from that, a far cry from that. We're a professional outfit at the moment. We're a damn feared outfit. You talked about however many games it was, winning streaks and stuff like that. I just want to say as well that people need to up their Twitter game. I haven't seen one Grim Reaper lineup of him knocking on the doors yet. Come on, I'm useless at that stuff. Otherwise, I would have it up there. I want to see someone tag me in that before the end of the night tonight, because that's the fun I'm here for. That's the crack we're here for. And as I say, you know, we were talking about mind the gap after the last game, and now we're looking at where we are in the table, and it's okay to be happy to be an Aston Villa fan, you know, where we are, because these good times are fantastic. And will they last forever? I hope so, but nothing is guaranteed. So we should go into this Arsenal game buoyed. We should go into this Arsenal game thinking that we can win this game, specifically at home. It cannot be understated how good we are at home. And after that, then like that is a title 6-pointer. You know, we win that game, we go to 3 points behind Arsenal. Game on.
The narrative but the big there, thing, I suppose, Martinez, Emery. Oh, I love it.
But the big thing that I would have there, look, if you do beat Arsenal, I know Arsenal pods will probably clip this up and go, oh, watch how cocky they were. We're not being cocky. We're talking about if it happens. And we're in the moment of being happy after this great win. But you do that, you beat Arsenal. Realistically, what happens there is, yeah, you're 3 points closer to the top of the league. But the realism of that is you're 3 points further away than teams behind you.
100%.
And that, for me, is the key.
That's the big thing.
That's the key.
Yeah.
That's what Unai Emery should be drilling into these guys, going, get away from the crowd behind you, and then really chase the crowd in front of you.
Well, like yesterday, Newcastle Spurs being a draw was a perfect result for where we want to be. We beat Brighton. We've already kind of gained points on at least 3 teams around us just this midweek. If you can keep doing that, Chelsea as well, a 4th team, it's massive. Just to sounds so stupid. Win games is quite good, isn't it, Neil? Who'd have thought it? But when you put these little runs together, where Villa will have blips, we might lose at the weekend. But then if you go and win, I don't know, 3 out of the next 4 or whatever, that if you can keep doing that throughout the course of a season, you're going to stand yourself in good stead to be in Europe somewhere. And I think in the Champions League, I'm going to stick my neck out early doors. I said it a couple of days ago. I think we will finish in the top 4. I don't even know if we'll necessarily need 5th this year. I think we'll finish in the top 4.
That is like in the realm of reality, in the realm of seriousness, I suppose, as well. It cannot be understated how important it is for Aston Villa to get into the Champions League again next year. And
it'll be a massive achievement as well.
I will say it would be the greatest achievement. It would be the best achievement of Unai Emery. Probably, I would go so far. It would be better, maybe not better than getting Villarreal into semi-finals of the Champions League, but it would be up there with that, considering the financial firepower that's around us, and the fact that we've lost players over the last. We've lost players from last year, and we're outperforming where we were last year already. It's nothing short of proving that managerial. That a good manager is able to paper. Now, I wouldn't say paper over the cracks, but a good manager is able to coach a team to greater heights, and this is one of the reasons why, you know, without bringing it up this late in the podcast, because we don't need to have this debate now. But
I'm here or not, mate. You do what you like.
If somebody wants to meet me in the Aston Social next time I'm over, we can have a conversation about why Pep Guardiola will always be under 2 or 3 managers for me, and he is not the best manager ever, based on that fact. Coaching players to be better, coaching and not having to rely on always having to dip into the deck to find your ace in the hole again.
Yeah.
You know, so.
Yeah, okay, let's not get into that debate now. Lee in the comments earlier said, it can't carry on like this, can it?
Do you want to bet against us?
It can. That is what you were supposed to say. Come on. You must not be a fan of the Cloud Blue podcast. I say it every episode. Just quickly on that, Spotify Wraps came out today. I don't know whether you saw, Neil. Lots of people have been tagging us, and I'm sure you'll have had some of these as well, of being in people's top 5 podcasts for the year. I can't shout people out specifically now, but I might do it next episode. I had a couple of tweets that were like, it was in minutes, and it was something like 8,000 minutes listened. You are in the top 1% of this podcast fans. And somebody had something like 5,000 minutes. And I was like, I can't quite comprehend what 8,000 minutes is. I'm going to Google it now quickly in hours. It's 133 hours.
2 Premier League seasons, is it?
133 hours.
4 Premier League seasons.
What?
4 Premier League seasons, wouldn't it?
8,000 minutes. You want about matches?
Yeah.
133 hours divided by an hour and a half would be X amount of football games. Yeah, you could do it like that as well.
Yeah.
But that's a lot of minutes, and that's probably like the maximum amount of minutes that we've uploaded this year. I can't imagine it being much more than that. So thanks to everyone who's tuned in, and if we're in your top thing, some of you may have got a little video message from me as well saying thank you. So if you did see that, and yeah, that's a nice touch, I guess. Classy touch from Spotify. Thanks for sorting that. I was going to mention one last thing. I wanted to look at the league table very quickly. I'm going to press the buttons here and see if this works. I'm going to hide the chat for a second. Now, the league table you're looking at is not the league table of today, fortunately, because we're not 18th. I just wanted to go back to game week 5 very quickly, where Villa had 3 points from the first 5 games. And the rivals around us at the moment, Liverpool had 15, 5 out of 5, and are now nowhere to be seen.
20,
Arsenal had 10.
What?
So we were 7 behind Arsenal after the first 5 games. You got Bournemouth
Arsenal
up there.
23 now. Or sorry, they've 33. Liverpool are, let's see. So Liverpool have only gained Liverpool have only gained 7 points since then.
And Villa they've gone from 3 to 27. Like we've said this a few times, we've given the league a 5-game head start, and look where we still are. With the opportunity that if you do beat Arsenal on Saturday, we're 3 points behind the runaway leaders, given the start we had. It's absolutely incredible, the turnaround we've had up till now. And it's football, right? This could all blow up and we look very silly come at the end of the season when we finish whatever we finish, right? And if it's not what we want it to be. But if Villa do something to qualify for the Champions League, or even, obviously depending how you get on in the Europa League, just to get in Europe again, to do it consistently is such a difficult achievement. You see Brighton get into the Europa League 1 year and then disappear. Palace have got Conference League. It can happen where clubs come and go. Villa have been in some kind of Europe 3 seasons in a row. I think, putting my colours to the mast early, I think it'll be Champions League again next season. Obviously, long way to go. But to do that with the things that we've had to deal with in terms of losing players that we don't really want to lose, financial restrictions, spent 30 million on Gesson and not got any return really. The Harvey Elliott thing, we've wasted half a season of a potential transfer in whatever way you want to look at it. Should we have got a better loan? Should we have spent the money elsewhere? Would that player have been more impactful than Elliott? Probably yes. So to do all that last year for Bailey to drop off, then we decided to get rid of him, like selling Douglas Luiz when we wouldn't really want to. Probably don't really want to lose a player like Duran. For the player, the personality is another conversation. But Villa kind of get thrown these wild cards all the time, and Emery's there with a baseball bat just whacking them away, going, yeah, come on, bring it on then. Give me something else to deal with and I'll still show you. So it's a remarkable thing that Villa are even allowed to get anywhere near what they're doing, because we shouldn't be able to.
Absolutely, 1,000,000%. And like, come the start of the season, everybody would have said, if you were to go, Buendia, Jacob Ramsey. Everyone was like, Jacob Ramsey all day long. I was disgusted that Jacob Ramsey left the club. I was actually disgusted. Like, that's the correct word I would use. I wasn't surprised. I was disgusted that we had to sell a homegrown player. But Jacob Ramsey wouldn't have scored for however many goals Buendia has scored. I don't think he would. I don't think he would have scored the goal against Spurs. I don't think he would have scored the knuckleball free kick. And this is not me having a kick at Jacob Ramsey. It's what I'm saying, that going back to the thing where Unai Emery has coached Buendia to be better and to be pivotal for us in those moments where we needed him. And he had to start because of injuries in our midfield at that time. So he took his chance. The belief this manager must give those players, it must just be coursed through their veins. Like, whatever he says to them, they must just like so buy into it at any given time. And that's why after 5 games, when the conversation was, and it's very easy to say it now, and I know that I'm delving into the whole revisionist stuff here, but I never said that are the players getting sick of listening to Unai Emery, because I never thought it was true. And there was a very big narrative around there of 3-hour video sessions, the players can't get on board that forever. But that's what professionalism is now in 2025. And it seems to be working. And whatever that, along with the fact that Unai Emery must have these magic hands that just gives people confidence, is fantastic. It really, really is. Yeah. So well done to Unai Emery. Well done to all those players out there tonight. And what we, I suppose, is a good way to bring it all back is we scored 4 unanswered goals tonight. That's not a thing Villa do very often. We often can see 2 goals early. We don't score 4 unanswered goals. That's a brilliant feat of achievement from this team. It really is.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, I think we're done, Neil, for tonight. A longer post-match show, so thank you for joining me. But yeah, of course it's going to be. That was such a great performance and a great result. So thanks everyone for tuning in. Almost 900 people listening all the way through, which is fantastic. Thank you very much. And lots of people will watch this when we're not live and listen to it on Apple Podcasts or Spotify or whatever, as we know from the Spotify data, which has been lovely to see. If we are in your Spotify Wrapped, keep sending them through, because it's really nice for us to see. One thing I will ask for, I've seen Bardell's podcast get loads of Apple Podcast reviews. So I've had the big bosses onto me saying, why have we not had an Apple Podcast review since like July? So not my fault, it's the audience's fault. Come on, pull your finger out, whoever you are. If you can leave us some Apple Podcast reviews, preferably nice ones, so I can satisfy my big bosses in my next one-to-one meeting before Christmas.
Shadowy figures at the top of the pyramid.
The big bosses.
I can say that. You can't. Sorry, I hope I don't get fired.
There's all these Apple Podcast reviews saying nice things. Look at everyone else's podcast, getting one every day. Why have we not had one for 3 months? Don't know. So if you can leave some nice words, that'd be great. It helps push the podcast up the charts, I think. Therefore, more people can listen to our lovely, lovely dulcet tones and hopefully enjoy hearing about Aston Villa 4 or 5 times a week. So that'd be great, and I'd really appreciate it. Neil, we've started doing this thing where, for those who are watching on demand, to prove that they stayed till the end as a true Claret and Blue podcast fan, we want to suggest a word in the comments so we know that they got to the very end, or at least they skipped to the end. Would you like to suggest a word or a phrase?
Steel.
Steel? As in the metal?
Steel, as in the metal, yeah. Because those guys showed metal body parts out there today.
Okay.
You know, it was just steely determination brought them back into this, and you know, to see it out after conceding that third goal as well, brilliant stuff. Steely performance, I would call it.
Yeah, nice. The live chat are doing it as well, which is great. Yeah. Okay, Neil, thank you very much for joining me. As always, or not as always, but thank you for joining me. I'm all over the place now. Myself and John Townley will be here with a fan zone for Arsenal on Thursday or Friday. So if you want to go over to the mailbag, which is also in the podcast description, you can share your thoughts ahead of the big one at Fortress Villa Park on Saturday lunchtime. Right, everyone, thank you for watching or listening on Wednesday evening. If you're watching on catch up, get involved with the comments and the podcast reviews and whatnot as well. All those things are hugely helpful. Okay. Night, everyone, as I said the other day, or good morning if you're listening in the morning. This might be my new outro, and we'll see you again soon. Bye-bye.